The email notification chimed at exactly 8:47 on a Tuesday morning. I was sitting at my kitchen table in my beach house in Nags Head, North Carolina, nursing my second cup of coffee and watching the gulls dive for their breakfast. The sound made me glance at my laptop screen, and that's when I saw it. My house. My beautiful 3-bedroom beach house with the wraparound porch and direct ocean access. Listed for sale on Zillow. For 830,000. I blinked, certain I was seeing things. But no, there it was. The listing photos showed my living room, my kitchen, even the master bedroom with the view I woke up to every morning. The description read, charming oceanfront property, motivated seller, priced for quick sale. The listing agent's name was right there at the bottom, Brittany Walsh. My daughter-in-law. My hand started to shake, and it wasn't from the coffee. Let me back up a bit. My name is Margaret Chen, though everyone calls me Maggie. I'm 68 years old, and I worked as a nurse for 42 years before I retired. My husband Robert died 3 years ago from a heart attack, sudden and devastating, and this house has been my sanctuary ever since. Robert and I bought it 30 years ago when the kids were small, scraping together every penny for the down payment. We'd planned to retire here together, spend our golden years watching the sunrise over the Atlantic. Well, I got the sunrise, just not the together part. I have 2 children. My daughter Lisa lives in San Diego with her husband and twin boys. She's a software engineer, always busy, but she calls every Sunday without fail. Then there's my son David. He's 42, works in IT in Raleigh, about 2 hours from here. Smart kid, good heart, but he's always had a blind spot when it comes to women. Enter Brittany. They met 4 years ago at some tech conference. She's a real estate agent, 35 years old, blonde, perfectly put together in that Pinterest mom kind of way. When David first introduced us, I smiled and shook her hand and told myself to give her a chance. But there was something in her eyes when she looked around my house that first visit. Something calculating. I'm a nurse. I spent 4 decades reading people, watching for the subtle signs that someone was in pain or hiding symptoms. You develop an instinct for when something's off. And with Brittany, something was always off. But David loved her. They got married 2 years ago in a destination wedding in Mexico that cost more than my first car. I went, I smiled for the photos, I kept my concerns to myself. Now, staring at that listing on my laptop, all those instincts were screaming. I picked up my phone and called the number on the listing. It rang 3 times before Brittany's professional voice answered. Brittany Walsh, Coastal Realty. How can I help you find your dream home today? Brittany, I said quietly. It's Maggie. There was the briefest pause. Oh, Maggie. Hi. What's up? I'm looking at a very interesting property listing right now. A beach house in Nags Head. Does that ring any bells? Another pause, longer this time. When she spoke again, her voice had that syrupy sweetness that made my teeth hurt. Oh, that. Maggie, I was going to call you about that. I've been meaning to talk to you. Were you? Yes. Look, I know we discussed you may be downsizing, and I just wanted to get a feel for what the market value would be. I put together a listing as a preliminary step, to see what kind of interest there might be. I should have told you first. I'm sorry. I let the silence stretch out. In my nursing days, I learned that silence makes people uncomfortable. Uncomfortable people talk more than they should. But honestly, Maggie, Brittany continued, filling the void, the response has been amazing. I've already got 3 families interested in viewing it this weekend. At this price point, it could sell in days. You'd walk away with enough money to get a really nice condo somewhere. Maybe one of those assisted living communities with activities and meal plans. Wouldn't that be easier? Assisted living. There it was. I never asked you to list my house, I said evenly. I know. But Maggie, be realistic. This place is too much for you to handle alone. The maintenance, the property taxes, the stairs to the beach. What if you fell? David and I worry about you constantly. Does David know you listed my house? Well, no. Not yet. But then I suggest you take it down. Today. This morning. Right now. Actually. Maggie, I really think you should consider. I hung up. My heart was pounding. I sat there for a long moment, staring at the listing. Then I screenshotted it, saved it to a folder. Something else I'd learned in 42 years of nursing. Document everything. 3 hours later, the listing was gone. But I couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't over. I was right. The next morning, I found Brittany in my driveway. I'd gone out for my usual walk on the beach at sunrise, and when I came back, there was her white BMW parked next to my old Subaru. She was sitting on my porch swing, scrolling through her phone, looking perfectly at home. "What are you doing here?" I asked, not bothering with pleasantries. She looked up with a bright smile. "I felt terrible about yesterday. I brought you some of those blueberry muffins from that bakery you like." She held up a white box tied with string. I didn't move to take it. "How did you get here so early? It's a 2-hour drive from Raleigh." "I stayed at the Hampton Inn in Nag's Head last night. I wanted to see you in person to apologize properly." She stood up, smoothing her linen pants. "Can we talk inside? I'd love some coffee." Everything in me screamed not to let her in, but I unlocked the door anyway. Sometimes you need to let people reveal themselves. She followed me into the kitchen, setting the muffin box on the counter. I made coffee in silence while she wandered around my living room, touching things. My mother's vase. The photos of the grandkids. The painting Robert and I bought on our anniversary trip to Santa Fe. "You have so many memories here," she said softly. "It must be hard, being surrounded by all of this." The past. The past is all I have of Robert. I know, but maybe that's not healthy, Maggie. Living in the past, David worries that you're stuck here, isolated, not moving forward with your life. I poured 2 cups of coffee, handed her one. "Did David say that? Or are you saying that? We both feel it." She took a sip, nodded approvingly. "This is good. Is it that Italian roast from the market?" I didn't answer. I was watching her eyes roam around my kitchen, and I realized she was assessing square footage, finishes, resale value. "Maggie, I want to help you. That's all I've ever wanted. David and I have been talking, and we think the best thing would be for you to let me handle the sale of this place. I can get you top dollar, much more than that preliminary listing." I was lowballing it to generate quick interest, but I know this market. "I could probably get you $1 million, maybe 1.2. I'm not selling." You say that now, but think about it. You're 68. How much longer can you really maintain a place like this? And what happens when you can't? When you need help? David and I can't drop everything to drive down here every time something breaks or you have a health issue. Wouldn't it be smarter to sell now while you're still capable of making these decisions yourself? The subtext was clear. Before you're too senile to know better. "I appreciate your concern," I said, ice in my voice. "But I'm perfectly capable of maintaining my own home and making my own decisions." "Of course you are." I didn't mean. "I think you should go." She set down her coffee cup. For just a second, her mask slipped, and I saw something cold flash across her face. Then the smile was back. "Just think about what I said, okay, for David's sake." After she left, I sat at my kitchen table for a long time. Then, I called my daughter. "Lisa, I need to tell you something." I explained the listing, the conversation, all of it. Lisa was quiet for a moment. "Mom, that's messed up. Does David know?" She claims they've been discussing it. "I'm calling him." "No, wait. I need you to do something else first. I need the name of a good attorney in North Carolina. Property law." "Mom, what are you thinking?" "I'm thinking I need to make sure all my paperwork is in order. Will, deed, power of attorney. I want everything locked down tight." "Okay. Yeah. I'll send you some names today." After we hung up, I opened my laptop and started looking at security cameras. My neighbor Tom came over that afternoon. Tom's a Vietnam vet, 73 years old, lives 2 houses down. He's been my friend since Robert and I first bought this place. He teaches kids to fish off the pier and keeps an eye on the neighborhood. Saw Brittany's car here this morning, he said, settling into one of my porch chairs. Early visit. She listed my house for sale without telling me. Tom's eyebrows went up. Come again? I showed him the screenshot. Explained the whole thing. He was quiet for a moment, then shook his head. I never liked her. Something slippery about that girl. Tom, I need your help. I want to install some security cameras. Inside and outside. And I want them hidden. You think she's going to try something? I think she's already trying something. I just don't know what yet. When do you want to do it? Today. It took us 3 hours. We installed 4 cameras total. 1 in the living room, disguised as a smoke detector. 1 in the kitchen, tucked inside a decorative shelf. 1 covering the front door from outside, hidden in the porch eaves. And 1 covering the driveway. Tom showed me how to access the feeds from my phone. You'll get motion alerts, he said. And everything records to the cloud. Even if someone found the cameras and smashed them, the footage would still be saved. Thank you. You call me. If you need anything, I mean it, Maggie. Anytime, day or night. That night, I lay in bed and couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Brittany's eyes when she looked around my house. Kept replaying her words. Before you're too senile to know better, my phone buzzed. A motion alert from the driveway camera. I pulled up the feed. It was 2:17 inches the morning. A car was pulling into my driveway. Headlights off. A white BMW. I watched as Brittany got out. She stood there for a moment, looking at my dark windows, then walked up to my front door. I switched to the porch camera feed, just in time to see her pull something out of her purse. A key. She had a key to my house. I felt sick. When had she gotten that? Had David given it to her? Or had she made a copy somehow? I watched her try the lock. It didn't work. I'd changed the locks 2 days ago, right after the first listing incident, but I hadn't told anyone. She tried twice more, then stepped back, frustrated. She pulled out her phone, and I saw the screen light up her face. She was taking photos of my house. The door. The windows. Then she got back in her car and left. I didn't sleep the rest of that night. The next morning, I called the attorney Lisa had recommended. Her name was Patricia Morales, and she had an office in Kill Devil Hills. Mrs. Chen, thank you for coming in, she said, shaking my hand. She was maybe 50, sharp-eyed, no nonsense. I liked her immediately. I showed her everything. The listing screenshot. The camera footage from last night. Explained the whole situation. Patricia watched the video of Brittany trying to use a key on my door, her expression growing grimmer. Do you know how she obtained this key? No, I never gave her one. Could your son have given it to her? Maybe. Or she could have had one made from his. Patricia made some notes. Has she made any other attempts to access your property? Not that I know of. But I only installed the cameras 3 days ago. I'm going to be frank with you, Mrs. Chen. What you're describing sounds like the beginning of elder exploitation. It's more common than people think. A family member or someone close to an elderly person tries to take control of their assets, often by convincing them they're incapable of managing their own affairs. I'm 68, not 98, and I'm perfectly capable. I can see that. But in the eyes of the law, age can be a factor. If your daughter-in-law were to claim you were experiencing cognitive decline, she might try to get power of attorney or even guardianship. My stomach dropped. Can she do that? She can try. Whether she'd succeed is another matter, especially if you're prepared. I'm going to recommend we do several things. First, we're going to update your will and make sure your power of attorney documents are current and specific. Second, I want you to get a cognitive assessment from your doctor, something we can use as evidence that you're of sound mind. Third, we need to document everything she does from here on out. I can do that. One more thing. Does your son know about any of this? I hesitated. Not yet. You need to tell him. Today. Because if this goes where I think it might go, you're going to need him on your side. I called David that afternoon. He answered on the third ring, distracted. Hey, Mom, can I call you back? I'm in a meeting. It's about Brittany. It's important. A pause. Okay, hold on. I heard him excuse himself, then the sound of a door closing. What's going on? Did you give Brittany a key to my house? What? Yeah. I think so. Last year, sometime, in case of emergencies. Why? Did you tell her to list my house for sale? What are you talking about? I told him everything. The listing, the visits, the camera footage from the middle of the night. The silence on the other end stretched so long I thought we'd been disconnected. David? Mom, I think you're misunderstanding the situation. Brittany mentioned that you two had been talking about maybe downsizing, and she was just trying to help. We never talked about downsizing. She made that up. Are you sure? Mom, no offense, but sometimes you forget. I don't forget things, David. I'm not senile. I didn't say you were senile. I just meant that maybe the conversation happened and you don't remember it exactly. And there it was. The seed of doubt she'd planted. Already taking root. David, I'm telling you, she listed my house without my permission. She tried to get into my house at 2 a.m. This isn't normal behavior. There's probably an explanation. Maybe she was driving back from a showing and wanted to drop something off. At 2 a.m, without calling first? I'll talk to her, okay? I'm sure it's just a misunderstanding. After we hung up, I sat on my porch and cried. Not because I was scared, but because I realized my own son didn't believe me. 2 weeks passed. I didn't hear from David or Brittany. I started to wonder if maybe I'd overreacted, if my loneliness and grief were making me paranoid. Then the letter came. It was from a law office in Raleigh. A notice that ownership of my property at 4782 Ocean View Drive was being transferred as part of a gift deed, effective in 30 days. I read it 3 times before the words made sense. Someone was trying to take my house, and according to the letter, I'd apparently agreed to it. My hands shaking, I called Patricia Morales. They're trying to claim I gave them the house, I said, my voice cracking. But I never signed anything. I never agreed to anything. Fax me that letter right now. I'm calling the law office listed. It took Patricia 2 days to unravel it. When she called me back, her voice was tight with anger. Mrs. Chen, someone forged your signature on a gift deed. They used a notary in Raleigh who apparently didn't verify your identity. The deed was filed with the county 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks? But never. I know. We're going to fight this. I've already filed a fraud report with the county and notified the police. But Maggie, I need to ask you something. Who had access to your documents? Your ID? Your signature? I thought back to Brittany's visits. The way she'd wandered around my house, my file cabinet in the study where I kept important papers. I always locked it, but she could have picked the lock, I said quietly. Or made copies when I wasn't looking. We need to prove that. Do your cameras cover your study? No, just the main rooms and outside. Then we need more evidence. Would you be willing to let her continue to think the deed is going through? Give her enough rope to hang herself? What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting we set a trap. Patricia's plan was simple. We'd let Brittany think the ownership transfer was proceeding smoothly. Meanwhile, I'd keep my cameras rolling and document everything. She's going to make a mistake, Patricia said. People like this always do. They get confident, sloppy. I didn't have to wait long. 4 days later, I got a call from a moving company. Mrs. Chen, this is Randy from Carolina Moving Services. We have you scheduled for this Saturday, August 12th, for a full house pack and move. We just wanted to confirm the time. We've got you down for 9 a.m. I didn't schedule any movers. A pause. According to our records, Brittany Walsh called on your behalf. She said you were moving to an assisted living facility and needed everything packed up and put in storage. Cancel it. I'm not moving. Oh. Okay. Well, Mrs. Walsh already paid the deposit, so I don't care. I'm not moving. Cancel it. I hung up and immediately called Patricia. She's escalating, Patricia said. This is good. This is evidence of intent. Good? She's trying to throw me out of my house, and we're going to stop her. But Maggie, I need you to trust me. Let's see what she does next. What she did next came 2 days later. I was at the grocery store when my phone buzzed with a motion alert. Multiple motion alerts. I pulled up the camera feeds and felt my blood run cold. Brittany was in my house. But she wasn't alone. There were 3 other people with her. A couple in their 50s, and someone who looked like another real estate agent. They were walking through my living room, my kitchen. Brittany was gesturing, talking, smiling, showing them my home, showing them their potential new home. I abandoned my grocery cart and drove home going 20 over the limit. When I pulled into my driveway, Brittany's car was still there along with a silver Lexus. I could see them through the window, standing in my living room. I walked in through my own front door. Brittany turned, and for just a second, I saw panic flash across her face. Then the professional smile was back. Maggie, you're back early. I was just, how did you get in my house? The couple looked uncomfortable. The other agent cleared her throat. We should go, the woman said. No, I said firmly. I want to know how she got into my house. Brittany's smile didn't waver. I have a key. I told you I was going to show the property. Remember? We talked about it last week. We didn't talk last week. I haven't spoken to you in 3 weeks. Maggie, yes we did. On Tuesday. You called me and said you'd changed your mind about selling, that you wanted me to start showing it. The couple exchanged glances. I could see them wondering if I was the confused old lady Brittany was making me out to be. Get out of my house, I said quietly. All of you. Now. Mrs. Chen, I think maybe you should sit down, the other agent said gently. Is there someone we can call for you? Your son, maybe? I know exactly what's happening here. And you're all leaving. Now. Or, I'm calling the police. They left. The couple looked relieved. The agent looked concerned. Brittany looked furious. As soon as their cars pulled out of my driveway, I called Tom. I need you to change my locks again, right now, and install another camera in the study. Then I called David. He didn't answer. I left a message. Your wife just let herself into my house with strangers. She's showing my house to potential buyers. David, I need you to hear me. She's trying to steal my home. Please, please call me back. He didn't call back that day. Or the next. But 3 days later, I got an email from him. Mom, I think you need to see someone. Brittany is really worried about you, and so am I. You're making serious accusations that don't make any sense. Brittany showed me the text messages where you asked her to start showing the house. She's just trying to help. Please consider talking to a doctor. We love you. I stared at the email for a long time. Text messages. She'd fabricated text messages. I forwarded the email to Patricia. Her response came within minutes. We need to move now. Get to the police station and file a report. Bring everything. The detective's name was Sarah Ortiz. She was maybe 35, and she listened to my entire story without interrupting. When I finished, she looked at the camera footage, the forged deed, the email from David, everything. Mrs. Chen, I'm going to be honest with you. Cases like this are tricky. She's family, she had access to your home, and she's claiming you gave her permission for everything. But I didn't. I believe you. But proving it is going to be hard. However, the forged deed is a different story. That's fraud. That we can work with. What do I do? You keep documenting everything, and you do not let her in your house again under any circumstances. Change your locks. Get a restraining order if you need to. I'm going to open an investigation into the deed forgery. I drove home feeling simultaneously hopeful and terrified. When I pulled into my driveway, there was a car I didn't recognize parked on the street. A man in a suit was taking photos of my house. I got out. Can I help you? He turned, smiled. Mrs. Chen? I'm Greg Anderson from Atlantic Realty. Mrs. Walsh asked me to do an appraisal on the property. This shouldn't take more than 30 minutes. Mrs. Walsh doesn't own this property. I do. And I didn't authorize any appraisal. His smile faded. Oh, I was told the ownership was transferring and she needed a current appraisal for the buyers. The ownership is not transferring. Now please leave. He left, but I was shaking. I pulled out my phone and took photos of his car, his license plate. Everything. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about what Detective Ortiz had said. This was tricky. Brittany was family. She had David completely fooled. Around midnight, my phone rang. It was Lisa. Mom, I just got off the phone with David. What the hell is going on? I told her everything, including the latest. That's insane. Mom, I'm coming out there. You don't have to. I'm already looking at flights. I'll be there Saturday. I started crying. Thank you. Of course. You're my mom. And Brittany's going down. Lisa arrived Saturday afternoon. I hadn't seen her in 6 months, and when she hugged me at the airport, I held on longer than usual. On the drive back to the house, I filled her in on every detail. She listened, her jaw getting tighter and tighter. I can't believe David is taking her side. She's manipulated him. She's good at it. Well, she's about to find out I'm better. That night, the three of us sat on my porch. Me, Lisa, and Tom. We went through everything. One more time. We need to catch her in the act, Lisa said. Red-handed, undeniable. How? I asked. Tom leaned forward. The movers. When are they supposed to come? She canceled them when I found out. But what if she rescheduled? What if she's planning to come back when she thinks you won't be here? Lisa's eyes lit up. Mom, when's your next doctor's appointment? Thursday. In Raleigh. I'll be gone all day. Call the moving company. Ask if anyone's rescheduled for Thursday. I called Monday morning. The receptionist put me on hold, then came back. Yes, Mrs. Chen, we do have you rescheduled for this Thursday, August 17th. 9 a.m. Is there a problem? My heart started pounding. No problem. Thank you. I looked at Lisa. She did it. She rescheduled for Thursday. Lisa smiled grimly. Perfect. Here's what we're going to do. Thursday morning at 8:30, I drove toward Raleigh. Lisa was in the car with me, but we didn't go to Raleigh. We parked at Tom's house, 2 doors down, where we had a perfect view of my driveway. At 8:55, a moving truck pulled up. 2 guys got out and stood around, checking their phones. At 9:03, Brittany's white BMW turned into my driveway. I pulled out my phone and started recording. Lisa did the same. Brittany got out, all smiles, and talked to the movers. We couldn't hear what she was saying, but we could see her gesturing to my house, nodding, playing the part of the helpful daughter-in-law. Then she pulled out a key. My new key. The one I'd had made 3 days ago. How does she have that? I whispered. Doesn't matter, Lisa said. We've got her now. Brittany unlocked my front door and let the movers in. We gave them 15 minutes. Long enough for them to start packing, long enough for Brittany to commit fully to what she was doing. Then we walked over. The front door was wide open. Inside, the movers were wrapping my furniture in blankets. Brittany was in the kitchen, directing them. I walked in. What do you think you're doing? Brittany spun around. For a second, just a second, I saw real fear in her eyes. Then it was gone, replaced by that smile. Maggie, I thought you were in Raleigh. I was just what? Breaking into my house? Stealing my belongings? This isn't breaking in. I have permission. I have a key. How did you get that key, Brittany? I just had these locks changed 4 days ago. She hesitated, just for a moment. David gave it to me. Call him. Right now. Ask him. I pulled out my phone and called David on speaker. It rang 4 times before he answered. Mom? What's wrong? David. Did you give Brittany a key to my new locks? What? No, I don't even have a key to your new locks. What's going on? I looked at Brittany. He says he didn't give you a key. So how did you get in? The movers had stopped working. They were watching this play out, clearly uncomfortable. Brittany's face hardened. This is ridiculous. David, your mother is having another episode. She's confused, and I'm not confused, I said loudly. I'm standing in my house watching you try to steal my furniture. David, please. Brittany's voice took on a pleading tone. Please just come down here. Your mother needs help. Professional help. She's not well. Mom? David's voice was uncertain. David, your wife forged my signature on a deed to steal my house. She's made duplicate keys somehow. She's scheduled movers to clear out my belongings while I was supposed to be in Raleigh. I have camera footage of all of it. I have documentation. And the police are already investigating. Silence on the other end. David, Brittany's voice was sharp now. I'm coming down there, David said, and the line went dead. Brittany stood very still. Then she turned to the movers. Pack it up. We're leaving. Actually, Lisa said, stepping forward with her phone, you're not going anywhere until the police get here. Who the hell are you? I'm her daughter. And I've been recording this entire thing. Breaking and entering, attempted theft, fraud. Should I keep going? I'd already dialed 911 while they were talking. The police arrived in 12 minutes. Detective Ortiz came with them. She took statements from everyone. The movers, who quickly explained they were just hired to do a job and knew nothing about any dispute. Me and Lisa, who showed them our footage. Tom, who confirmed the timeline. And Brittany, who stuck to her story. This was all a misunderstanding. I'd given her permission. I was elderly and confused. But then Detective Ortiz brought up the forged deed. Mrs. Walsh. We've had a handwriting expert examine the deed you filed. The signature doesn't match Mrs. Chen's verified signature on file. It's a forgery. And the notary listed says they never notarized that document. Brittany's face went white. I want my lawyer. That's your right. Detective Ortiz pulled out handcuffs. Brittany Walsh, you're under arrest for fraud, forgery, and attempted theft. You have the right to remain silent. I watched them put her in the back of a police car. Watched her duck her head, all that perfect composure finally cracking. David arrived 20 minutes later. He pulled up just as the police car was leaving, and he stood in my driveway, watching it go, looking completely lost. Mom? He walked over to me, his voice breaking. Is it true? All of it? I just hugged him. He was taller than me, broader, but in that moment he felt like my little boy again. I'm so sorry, he whispered. I should have believed you. I should have listened. She fooled both of us, I said. She's good at what she does. What do I do now? You figure out what you want from your life. But first, you help me get my house back in order. It took 3 months for everything to be resolved legally. The deed was voided. Brittany was charged with multiple felonies. David filed for divorce. The real estate board suspended her license, pending the outcome of the trial. David moved into my guest room for a while. We didn't talk much at first, but slowly, we started to heal. He helped me repair the damage to the relationship, not the house. Lisa flew out twice more before everything was settled. She even joked about moving back to the East Coast, being closer to family. Tom came over every evening, and we'd sit on the porch and watch the sunset. "You did good, Maggie," he said one night. A lot of people would have given up. "I'm a nurse," I said. "We're trained to fight." "That you are." The trial was set for next spring. Patricia was confident we'd win. But the real victory, I realized, wasn't about the house. It was about trusting myself, about knowing my own mind and refusing to let anyone tell me I was too old, too confused, too anything to know my own life. I'm 68 years old. I'm a widow. I'm a mother and a grandmother. And I'm not going anywhere. Not until I'm good and ready. The sun sets over the ocean every evening, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink that take my breath away. Robert and I used to watch these sunsets together, planning our future. Now I watch them alone, but I'm not lonely. I'm surrounded by the life we built, the memories we made, and the family I'm rebuilding. This is my home, and no one takes what's mine.